I mean, it was sort of a surreal experience because being 17 years old, I was like, the last thing on my mind is having to also think about this, very sudden reminder of your mortality. I was hospitalized with a stomach ulcer that I was, losing blood through, and I just fainted at school one day. So they took me in, they treated me for that, but the doctor that had done the examination, like the colonoscopy or endoscopy, I think they did both. He was suspicious of the ulcer, so he took biopsies of it, and when they ran the biopsies, they found cancerous tissue. That was roughly in the beginning of 2017 when I was called back to the hospital and they gave me my stage 2 gastric cancer diagnosis. And at the time I was 17 years old, and they told me that it was pretty uncommon for people my age to get that specific type of cancer. Something that I've learned is that it is unfortunately becoming a more common thing among young adults. So they referred me to UT Southwestern, and right off the bat with them, I was assigned to a surgeon, and I underwent a total gastrectomy. So they just took out the whole stomach. The way they explained it to me was that because there was no acute cause for the cancer, and they had to assume it was a genetic predisposition, the recommendation was to just completely cut out the stomach tissue entirely, so as to avoid it coming back after being treated. So I underwent that, and I had a couple of weeks of recovery in the hospital following that procedure. Once I was out more or less moving around by myself, they started me on a chemotherapy procedure. I did bi-weekly cycles. There were a few periods where I had to take breaks because it got to be a little too much. But over the course of my treatment, I underwent about a year of chemotherapy. I had some additional minor surgery to remove some lymph nodes. At the end of that sort of year to 4 month span, I was declared cancer free. I go in for yearly examinations. They do a CT scan, general physicals, lots of blood work, but nothing super crazy. I don't have to go for the endoscopies and colonoscopies anymore, thank God. I guess when you're at that age, you sort of like to think, maybe subconsciously, that you're sort of invincible, that nothing can get you. And then to have to sit with that and be very poignantly reminded that it comes for anyone. I just remember sitting there in the doctor's room and thinking wow, that is some really sour luck. Of all people, I was just one of them. It was a very humbling experience for me. Very grounding, and I think that having to deal with that sort of realization so early on, or at least at that point in my life, because I spent my senior year of high school going through chemotherapy, and I was still finishing out school as best I could. Coming out of the diagnosis, I was worried that things would never be normal again, and that this would and I guess in a way that they haven't been. But I mean, what is normal, The most important thing that I've learned through that experience, and it's something that I take with me every day, even now 8 years out, is that you just got to take it 24 hours at a time. It's the hardest thing in the world sometimes, it feels but if you just take it one step at a time, those days stack up. Somebody said to me during the course of that period was that you don't count the days, you make the days count. And when you're fighting a fight like that, just being there and just getting through to the next sunset. That is always, like, that makes it count. I would like to see more funding and like research done for this sort of thing, because it's like, just like any cancer, it comes for all of us. I would like to be able to one day live in a world where like cancer is something we read about in history books. I understand that might be a long way down the road, but we're making good progress, and I would like to see that trend continue.